it's Karen again. Thanks for dropping into my little channel and having a look to see what I create today. I will apologise right from the bat, off the bat. My voice today is deciding that it's going to play silly buggers with me and it doesn't want to cooperate. So, if I sound raspy, it's just the big C still hanging around. It's driving me crackers. Okay, what am I doing today? I am bringing you a heap of different techniques on one layout. Why? Because it's International Scrapbooking Day at the end of this week, this weekend, and I wanted to give you inspiration that you don't have to, if you want to copy the whole page, go for it. If you want to copy bits of the page, bingo, you've worked out exactly what this channel is all about. I do my pages to what is aesthetically pleasing to my eye. You do your pages to what is aesthetically pleasing to your eye. Now, that being said, rainbows. I love rainbows. I love rainbows as much as the next person. Do I do them very often? No. Mainly because I think the old rainbow could be getting flogged like a dead horse. Like, let's be honest. It's just, it's copping it. So I'm not a big one for wanting to continually put out the same sort of style. My style, I enjoy making my own embellishments. I don't, to me, less is more. That's how I think of a page. Now, sometimes I do put quite a bit onto a page, and the reason I do that while videoing it for you guys is more so to show you, for every video of mine that you watch, I would like to think that I've got at least a minimum of 3 different techniques in every single video. So if you watch 10 of my videos, there has to be at least 30 techniques involved. So you get to get bang for your buck. Your time is precious to you as my time is to me. When you're scrapbooking or you're watching and learning from YouTube, I want you to take away from my Create with Karen channel, I want you to take away pieces that you could use with your photos, with your story. Now, yes, this is a rainbow layout, but one, I have chosen to use up the leftover stars from a layout that I did earlier in the week. I don't normally use the same supply in the same week in my videos. I don't like to do that because I don't want my videos to go up all looking very, very similar. But because it's International Scrapbook Day this weekend, I figured if I put it up there, I know rainbows are really popular at the moment, so I wanted to give you a couple of other techniques in order to use the rainbow to get your photos to pop if you're scrapbooking this weekend. Now, I am a bit silly because I've used the 65-pound cheap cardstock. I truly don't know why I did it, but it's okay. It's okay. Now, the cut file I cut out of American Crafts textured cardstock. So it's quite solid. It's all good. Now it's all dry. It's fine. But I was a little bit concerned in between that squeezed lemon and peacock feathers. It started to blend a little bit and I wasn't a fan of that. So here you can see my process where I'm adding, some of these are a little bit tone on tone, just so that they sort of I think if I went down around the bottom and didn't sort of run with a bit of tone on tone, it could have looked really busy. So I'm going around and I'm creating a border. Okay, I'm creating a border with the leftover stars so that they're not wasted. I am also using a cut file, which I purchased from the Cut to You digital cut file shop. It's created by Gwen. It's an Australian website. And if you're looking to support an Australian small business, pop on over. I will have a link below so you can just click on that. It's not an affiliate link whatsoever, no kickbacks, just a really good Aussie website if you want to pop over there to grab some inspiration for the weekend. Now, what I'm doing here, I will link the colours that I used. I will link those down below in my description. Everything that I've used will be in my description. So if I don't say it as I'm using it, just look below and you'll see exactly what it was that I used. So so sorry about that. I had to just quickly pause that then because I needed to cough. Okay, so I used for my stars my creative memories, my large and my small star punch. I used all 4 of them and cut all different sizes. These are my leftovers, and I used the Paper Rose Studio Inky Antics 1.0 6x6 paper pad. Now this cardstock is like, I think it's 200 GSM. Yes, it's 200 GSM, and so it's really thick. Now, what am I doing here? Okay, so I'm just gluing everything down. It's not technically 100% tone on tone or anything like that, mainly because what I do later on in the video to make the stars pop, yeah, stick around to see that because honestly, it is awesome. It's great. Now, it's another technique. Now, what I was saying before is I want you to take away from my videos a technique that you might want to try. It could be for my newbies. I've got quite a few new scrapbookers that have come to learn how to scrap. Now, first things first, there is no right and there is no wrong. Everybody's scrapbooking style evolves over time. I'll be honest, I look back at some of my pages and go, oh my God, that is so basic. What were you thinking, woman? Like, I do it, I really do. And then I look at my pages since I put, there's a couple of main huge differences. When I bought my Cricut Explore Air 2, that changed the game for me. When I bought my Spellbinders die cut machine, amazing, again, changed the direction of how I scrap. It really did. Mixed media, believe it or not, I never used to use. Back in the early days, I was taught by, I wasn't taught by, but I was guided by Creative Memories because I was a consultant, so I could get things cheaper. And I very much thought that the only place you could ever buy supplies from was Creative Memories, and that was the only way to scrapbook. No one ever said that to me, but that's what I thought. And down the line, almost 20 years now, I scrap so differently. I use mixed media. I am not scared to use, you can set, hang on, I'll let you, FYI, when I took my cut file off my Cricut mat, I left the innards of the cut file on the mat so I could go to them and pull the exact star that I wanted, trace around. I find tracing around the outside a lot easier than trying to trace the inside of the narrow cut file. Just saying. What am I using here? I do have to let you know this. The paper that you can see me using there, I use this all the time. It looks like vellum, right? It's not. It's tracing paper. Why do I use tracing paper instead of vellum? Tracing paper is a lot more sturdy, so it's easier to cut. It doesn't sort of, I don't know, to me it looks exactly like plain vellum, except it's dirt cheap. Absolutely dirt cheap. I bought a tracing paper pad, and it's an A4 pad, and I use it all the time. All the time. I use it for backing cut files, I use it for backing photos, I use it for anything that you would normally use vellum for. That's what I use it for. It goes through your die cut machine beautifully. It cuts beautifully. So you can use it on, like your doilies. And if you've got doily dies, whack the tracing paper through, because then you can create a shadow. That's what I'm creating here with what I'm doing. I don't back all these stars with tracing paper. Okay. Sorry, I just got to have a drink. Okay, sorry. My throat is still driving me crackers. Please, someone tell me this goes away. Okay. Now, backing the cut files. Right. So, backing the stars. So, I didn't back all of them because I'll show you later on what I do with the other stars. Now, with the tracing paper, it only cost me like $5 for 50 sheets of it. And I'm sorry, you can't get vellum that cheap. It's way cheap. And I find that I can just be more, if I can get some of my supplies that cheap, I feel like I can use them up a lot more, and I'm not sort of worried about the cost of blowing out. Because let's be honest, our craft, it can get expensive. It's not the cheapest hobby, but I love it. I love anything to do with paper. So, as I was saying before, what I want you to take from my page, you could simply take tracing paper. Never thought of it. Okay, I'm going to buy some of that next time I go to the $2 shop, and I'm going to start using that up. Not a problem. That's going to stretch my other supplies. You might take the cut file, and you might go and visit Cut to You Digital Cut File Shop. You might go and visit them and think, wow, these ones are different. Haven't seen anything like this before. And it might suit your photos. So, you might cut out this cut file and then cut the stars off it because you only wanted one of a kind. You don't want the stars. You might want to do love hearts. So you look at this and you see the cut file, and then you cut the whole cut file, and then use your scissors to cut the stars off. And then you've got a ready-made title. There's so many things on every single layout that I do that this layout is aesthetically pleasing to my eye. To you, you might think it's too bright. You might think it's too much. There's too many things going on the page. You might think it's not busy enough. All of those things are all valid points because we all scrap differently. What you can see me using and doing now, when I want gold, okay, I have this pot of gold ink. It's gold drawing ink. It's from EC. The brand is EC. I don't know. Educational Colours. It's an Australian brand. It's made in Australia, and I buy mine from Officeworks. That's where I picked it up from. Bought it forever ago. Why do I use it? Because one, it dries really quick. It rinses out with water, and it keeps the shine, the gold shine. That's why I use this when I want metallic gold. This pot, I couldn't honestly tell you how much it cost because I bought it ages ago before I even considered doing YouTube. So there's a lot of my supplies that I'd honestly have to look it up to know the cost of it. But if you're looking for a really nice metallic, they have a huge range of drawing ink. It's water-based, it dries super quick, you can keep moving on, you can use it for splatters, you can use it for colouring in if you just want to. So in this scenario, I've cut the cut file out of white cardstock. I've covered some of the stars with vellum. I now want the other stars. I like to have a little bit of metallic something on my page. I like the contrast. So either the black and the white, or the colour and the white, or the colour and black, or white and gold. We know white and gold works, right? So I literally, they're still on my Cricut mat. It hasn't damaged my mat in any way, shape or form. They're all stuck down so I can use my heat tool to dry it. I only did that purely because I wanted to keep moving on. I wanted to I actually filmed this in one long line. There was no chopping and cutting and whatever. There was one point where I had to get up and, let's be honest, got to go to the loo at some point, right? So I did have to get up. So I did stop and start for that. But other than that, I'm literally doing this in one hit. So here you can see me I've backed the two little photo strips that I printed out. It actually was one big piece. Now I have an Epson printer and I print from home, and I use Epson Creative Print. That's the app that I use, and I have got an XP 8600 series printer. It's a 6-color printer. I find by using the Epson matte photo paper, I get the best photos. Crystal clear. And because I use the collage setting on the app, I can print photos any size I want, up to obviously the A4 size, which I would never print one that big. So that's just if you're interested. I'll pop that below just so in case you're curious or you're in line for another printer. I can get the 6 inks for about $130 here in Australia. So I think my husband gets them from, I think he buys them on eBay maybe. I'll have to check into that. I'll let you know in a video coming up. So now I'm just gluing down the cut file, and I've glued down the photos. The photos, all I did was put a little bit, so I left the white border, and I've put down a little bit of tracing paper behind them. When you see the photos up close, you can see the tracing paper has given me a little bit of a blended edge, so it's not quite so harsh. So now what I'm doing is just going around, sticking down here's a tip, I find it easier to put some glue under some parts of the cut file, and then I go ahead and I just lift it up to when a cut file's this big, I struggle a little bit with getting it all down without it touching. And because I had the ink on there, I didn't want to make that run. Okay, so here I show you this. This is literally how quick this was. It was like bang, 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 done. I've got my title. I've got my gold on the page. And because I left it stuck in on position on my Cricut mat, I didn't have to sit there and work out which star was which or which letter was which, because it was literally go from there to there. Super simple. And to my eye, it's clean because all the messy media is done on the other page. You can see I've gone over the edge because it's, it's a water-based ink. So it runs a little bit. It got on the edge. It hasn't damaged the mat at all. It's still just as sticky as it was when I used it. So now you can see I'm adding, sorry, I need another drink. Hang on. Oh, okay. So I'm just putting these little gold stars, sorry, the little gold stars, and it just makes it pop. See the gold on the white? See how it's making the whole cut file? Because I need that little bit of white space. It needs to be there because otherwise the entire page is just colour and it's too much. You need somewhere on here for your eyes to go, whew. So that's why I've left that white up the top. Now, I've gone around with all the gold stars, popped them in where they need to be. Still the border's looking weird, right? You're still wondering why I did that. Stick around. I'm just clearing off my mat there purely because I wanted to. I've got 4 dogs, right? God love them all. But they're inside outside dogs, and the hair, I vacuum every day, and I have a tiled house. But I tell you what, you leave one of those Cricut mats unattended without its plastic on top, and guarantee you'll have 500 hairs on it in 5.5 microseconds. Guaranteed. I don't know how it happens. It's like static or something. Okay, so here we go. Now, this bit is when I went to the toilet, and when I came back, I didn't click the video and I sort of missed a bit. I'm really glad I looked up though and looked at my TV and realised that it wasn't turned on. Now, if you've seen my other video that I used these stars on, you will know I went around those stars in a black POSCA pen. Today I'm showing you, because this page is light, bright, airy feeling, rainbow. It's meant to feel light and bubbly. It's not meant to feel black, dark, and, So I went with a white POSCA pen. I went with the 0.7 mil, and I'm really happy with it. I don't go all the way around the stars. I'm only going on a couple of, each star's different. Some I did 2 or 3, some I just did 1 triangle, but I've used 2 lines. So instead of just doing 1 line, I've done the arrow. You will see it in the close-ups at the end. That's where I skipped over. So if you look over to the right at the moment, you can see how I've used 2 lines. So there's some single lines and some double lines. It creates the illusion of movement. That's what it's doing. And lines will always help you tell the story. And it helps you think of when you draw a smiley face. If you draw a couple of lines around the smile, you can see that the face would be wrinkled up from the smile. The eyes squinted a little bit because that shows you the emotion. What I'm doing here, lines are something I go to all the time because I use it to accentuate, highlight, show movement, all of those different things, and it just makes the stars pop. It makes the stars look like they're supposed to be around the edge now. They don't look like an afterthought. Now, what I do here is I go through and I add, it's just a line and a dot. I know it sounds weird. Maybe I should do, let me know if you want me to do some quick how-to videos. You know, they'll only be a couple of minutes each and just showing you different techniques. If that's something that you're interested in, I've got a gazillion of things that I use. If that's something that you would be interested in, so you can just sort of watch it quickly, if that makes sense. Now, so I go around these guys. I do my journaling afterwards, after I've taken my photos, etc. Any of my long-term subscribers will know that. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it. It would really help my channel out, and it would help the YouTube algorithm know that people are coming to my channel and it's worth promoting my channel. So a like and subscribe would be super appreciated. If you're still with me, here's my zoomed in. See the lines? Can you see how I've doubled some of them and not others? And see the vellum stars, the line with the dot just gives it, it brings the star to life. So this is my page. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much if you're still here. I really appreciate it. And happy International Scrapbooking Day. And I will be loading up a couple more videos for your inspiration for this weekend. Thank you so much for watching. I'll chat to you soon. Bye.